The literature of the Heian period in Japanese history was not only colorful, but very descriptive of the society of the day, whether it was the Setsuwa contained in the collections of Times Now Past, or first-hand accounts in Seishun Gon's The Pillow Book. One aspect of Heian culture that arose in many of these literary works was adultery. The instances of extramarital affairs were not only pervasive, but also discussed rather nonchalantly. Even a person familiar with Japanese history would have to wonder why a subject matter typically synonymous with sin be often included in well-respected Japanese literature. The reasoning behind these atypical occurrences cannot be tracked back to one main cause, but rather a collection of customs and moral issues that were embedded in Japanese culture. One of the larger problems with understanding the instances of infidelity is simply that the idea of marriage at the time was not printed in black and white. In fact, marriage in Heian society was borderline polygamy, considering that the role models of society, which were imperial aristocracy, abided by the loosest definition of marriage: an extended physical relationship between a man and a woman, possibly resulting in children, recognition of the relationship by society, and acknowledgement, but not necessarily execution, of family responsibilities. In addition, the Heian period still went by the Chinese legal code that said that a man can only have one wife, but never said anything about the number of concubines. Basically, a concubine is a technical way of saying lover. Having a concubine is like formally having an extramarital affair, and both of these facts were virtually accepted without debate during the Heian period. Especially in the case of court aristocrats and officials, the customary court law of class-restricted marriage was strongly upheld. This meant that a man in the imperial court, which is usually made up of a small group of families, had slim pickings, but a better chance of promotion. However, a tempting but lower-class beauty could understandably drive a man of the court crazy with lust, leading him astray from his marriage. Or in an even stranger circumstance, a man may look into his own family for sexual outlets. Strange as it may seem, this happened quite often in arguably the most recognized Japanese novel, The Tale of Genji. Genji, who is the product of an emperor-concubine affair, proceeds to have an illicit affair with both Lady Rokujo while married to the tempestuous Lady Ayoi, and with none other than his stepmother, Lady Fujitsubo, while she was still married to his father. Or could it have been sex-infused Buddhist doctrine that justified and necessitated taking a lover? It is said in a medieval Buddhist text written by a monk named Shinjo that intercourse with women is the most crucial thing in Shingon teaching, and that this is the highest among the practices for attaining Buddhahood within the present body. Another Buddhist doctrine from the late 14th century also backs up this view. It says that the secret art of attaining Buddhahood within the present body is the path of yin and yang between men and women, and that there is no other way to attain Buddhahood and obtain the path. This can all be seen in the tales of Issei. According to the religious text mentioned, the Issei Monogatari contains waka that were reproduced from a school of waka interpretation that was affiliated with strongly sexualized doctrine. Moreover, the anonymous authors of these waka poems were most likely made up of aristocratic poets or scholars, and are believed to have actually practiced sexual rituals. An example of this sexual Buddhist mentality can be seen in the story of the man of the Ariwara clan, who summoned yin-yang diviners and shamanists and made preparation for a ritual ablution to end his love for another woman. The one thing that can be drawn from all these conjectures is that court life was the center of it all. Regardless of the leniency towards concubines and sexual Buddhist doctrine, aristocrats were so high on their own status that they felt no shame in throwing caution to the wind in order to satisfy their bodily desires. And though at times a story delivered punishment to an adulterer in the form of exile or death, the fact still stands. Adultery was permissible in Heian imperial culture, as seen by its ubiquity in the literature of its day. It's as if Japanese courtiers wholeheartedly lived by the adage of "'tis better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all."